Yeah, what up, y'all? What's good? Life be life'n, huh? What your life in? What your life like? What you got into today and all that, man? You know what I mean? It's March 18th. Another day in the pocket, another day at war. You know what I mean? It's going on, it's going down. Before we get into that and all of that, I just wanted to get, I really wanted to give a shout out, a personal, special, like a, you know what I mean? Just real quick talk about this whole internet, right? Like all the content creators, from myself, new to the whatever, doing this or whatever, and all the veterans that been did like the season motherfuckers that been doing it since like the pandemic. Sidebar: before we get into this, I want to say a quick backstory as to me even starting this Life Be Life and thing. I wanted to do this, start a podcast, whatever show platform, whatever you want to call it, 6 years ago during the pandemic. Actually, talking to my man, we on the phone for hours, like you know what I mean, just busting it up, talking about different shit, but not realizing like, oh shit, we on the phone damn near 3 hours. I'm like, bro, niggas could have recorded that, turned it into something, chopped it, whatever. There it go. He pump shotted it down like, nah, they ain't really, he just wasn't, he wasn't jacking out there. All right, whatever. So me, I kind of let it, I gave it room, rent free space in my mind, like loft space, you know what I mean? And it kind of discouraged me, you know what I mean? So with that, I was kind of like damn, doubting myself, like, every time I got an idea and I bring it to somebody, or you know what I mean, and if it's something that they ain't feeling, so basically I just allow what somebody else's, dislike affect how I felt, you know what I mean? So I was just like, never again. So as I'm rebuilding, you know what I mean, rebranding, just going through different things and all of that, you know what I mean? That I just I realized I had an epiphany. I was just like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just get this shit a try. So like I said, one day talking to one of my nephews, he was saying one of my other nephews had some equipment and all that. So I was like, oh fuck it, let's do it. You know what I mean? We got the resources, let's do it. There's no more talking. You know what I mean? So I was like, from here on out. So I say that to say this all came about within a 5 month, 3 month, 3 to 5 month. Just okay, we need to get that. We need to get that. You know what I mean? Just was like, fuck it, let's just go. Hit record and just go. As I'm doing, you know what I mean? And and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, I could have been 6 years already in, you know what I mean, doing something else, or you know what I mean, having that to jump on to something else, because this ain't the be all end all for me, not for me anyways, you know what I mean. So I'm just like, well, let me just get my feet wet in it and all that, you know what I mean, see what's what, and I'm just giving y'all the product. Here it go. You know what I mean? Feeding the algorithms, whatever, little shorts, this, that, happen. All right. So now I'm just like, everything is just coming into fruition. You know what I mean? Like when you speak on it and you do it, it can happen, I'm telling you. You know what I mean? So I was just like, because of that, I was just like, I would never, if it's something that I'm passionate about doing, whatever it may be, I'm not gonna allow the thoughts of a dislike from any coming from no other mind aside from myself to discourage me on what it is that I'm trying to endeavor and indulge in, what have you. You know what I mean? Because again, if you're only gonna invest in yourself, you know what I mean? That's the only way you're gonna get the best results, is if you invest in yourself, because nobody else is gonna invest in you. You know what I mean? Now, when you start building your brand, and that's when everybody want to come, and you know what I mean? Oh, let me get down with it. Let's get into you see it, right? Life be life, and yo, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? So that's that. So I say all that to say, with with all this content creating that's going on these YouTubes, on these all these streaming platforms, excuse me, that this is like almost an independent Hollywood of all races and colors, but especially for us. You know what I mean? Because Hollywood, they don't they don't cater to us. Never did. Never will. You know what I mean? And not just us. Again, I was watching one of the you see how, like I said, we had war. I said that a minute ago. All of that within, we ain't even a month into it. This was within what, 2, 3 weeks? And we just totally forgot about the whole Epstein file, we just forgot all about that. Like that shit is just like unheard. Like it's all forgotten about. I mean, it's still being talked about, but it's like it's a whisper on the mass platforms. You know what I mean? Like the news, basically, all news conference. You know what I mean? Of all levels, the newspaper, internet news, local news, what have you. They ain't talking about no Epstein file. That shit went from the front page, the first 8 pages. Now that shit is a small little cubicle on the page because it's war. It's war. You know what I mean? War costs money, and it's sad that the casualties, the people, the constituents have to pay for the war of the powers that be, because to keep their skeletons remain in the closet and hidden in the public eye, right before our eyes. You know what I mean? Like, so, damn. You know what I mean? It's like, what could you do? You know what I mean? So saying all that to say, with us, with black people doing, especially like I said, in particular black people on these streaming platforms doing what they do, independent, strictly independent. Don't y'all know that we can fucking, this shit is our own Hollywood, yo. Niggas is making movies, mini movies, and little mini series and all that. Niggas could do this shit. Niggas don't need Hollywood, yo. Niggas got the technology, niggas got the know-how, niggas got the ideas. It's nothing that, it's gonna be a little rough around the edges, but come on now. It's Tubi in the world. And we've seen worse. You know what Tubi work with, and they work with you. So, yo, that's my aim. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so everything is not about trying to be, high production. I mean, eventually we'll get to that, but so long as you get your what you trying to get out to the world, man, that's major. Cause somebody gonna watch it. Like I said, everybody has the internet. You know what I mean? You be amazed what people would be interested, or whom they're interested in speaking, and how they speak, or how they vernacular. You know what I mean? I know my vernacular is I ain't really getting to it because I'm still, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna front, I'm still kind of like green with this shit and all. It's only like my 3rd episode or whatever like that. So, but it's a work in progress. It's a ride. We riding together. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, it ain't no. I'm just like, niggas don't need Hollywood, yo. You know what I mean? Like, since the pandemic, the world has changed. That's what ended the world. Like I said, the world was coming to an end years prior to that. But when the pandemic hit 2020, the world just did a flapjack flip. You know what I mean? And right before our eyes, we don't even know that. Like, don't you know? It just was what daylight savings time. Last week, the March 8th, March 7th, something like that. So now the days are longer, nights are shorter. So that means we lose an hour's sleep. That's what that means. If in case you didn't know, right? But what I'm saying is that's how the world changed, as if it was just another daylight saving time. So it had to have a pandemic and a slowdown, because motherfuckers would have been like, the world ain't. nobody would have paid attention to it. You know what I mean? But because the pandemic and everybody was affected by that motherfucker, right? You, me, them, him, her, everybody, the world. And that right there should have opened up everybody's eyes, to include myself, because I was so busy into getting the PAA, PUA, whatever the fuck that shit was. I was like, I'm chilling. But the nigga had a job then, you know what I mean? So, and that's why I was just like, well, I ain't working, I'm laid off, so I nigga couldn't work, you know what I mean? I was working. However, it's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is, while I was at the crib, smoking weed and all of that, because that's all I was doing, smoking bud. Fucking, it was them niggas just built a dispensary up the street from where I was living. Like, I used to walk to that shit. You know what I mean? It was like a block and a half from the crib. Walk right to that shit. For what I'm driving for. You know what I mean? So I'm spending, paying my bills and all that shit. But them bags, niggas was getting big bags and all. I mean, niggas paid the price eventually, but it served its purpose at one portion, a few months for me. Because then the niggas start getting bored, and then I'm like, I'm tired of being in the house and this whole routine. But again, now thinking back on it 6 years later, the world's changed. That's what ended the world that we knew prior to that, in case you didn't know. So I said all that to say, we're in a new world. Everything is independent, but you don't have to be still signed with the massa. You know what I mean? He going, you know what I mean? Devil always going, you know what I mean? Throw them numbers, start dancing in front of your eyes, and then it is what it is. Naturally, you're going to take it, right? However, I say, my point is, all these content creators that I was just, every time I scroll on like Facebook or TikTok, YouTube, IG, you know what I mean? I see a whole bunch of, you know what I mean, funny motherfuckers. Motherfuckers be kicking some knowledge. Motherfuckers be just, a little bit of everything. It's just entertainment. You know what I mean? This shit's entertainment. All of this shit's entertainment. You know what I mean? So when a nigga told me, like, yo, everybody and their moms on YouTube, I'm like, yeah, that's the new shit. Just like when everybody was selling mango piña and all that back in the days, or for your Gen Zs or your grabber smokers, y'all might not been around. Y'all was young. Y'all was still playing with Pokemon cards for the mango piña era and all that. But for motherfuckers my age and all that, late 30s, 40, and older, y'all remember the mango piña, right? You know what I mean? Niggas was right. Come on, man. Like, so the times change, man. Times change, B. That was the nickel bag era and all of that. You know what I mean? Dime bags. It wasn't no eighths and it wasn't none of that. Niggas was buying quarters and half zips, flip real quick and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Get your money back, smoke free, buy another one, do it again, and then this time, you know what I'm saying? Then you start flipping your shit and all that. That was how it was, you know what I mean? Word. But it's different, yo. The world's changed, man. You know what I mean? Like, everything is different from everything, yo. Money, cars, of course. This was all planned. It wasn't like it just happened. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't just happen. This was all organized, planned, and it was mission accomplished. Straight up. I don't want to go off because I've been going off a little bit. That what I was saying was getting back to the point of what I'm saying with the independent content creators, right? We can all, if niggas, everybody ain't got to work together, right? You don't see Denzel and Samuel or Lawrence Fishburne. You don't see them all in movies together. However, they still in the industry. They still in that. Us as content creators could collaborate, especially the new, you know what I mean? The new people, like not even the new people, but just motherfucker. If your work is dope, your work is dope. If you talented, that's what it is. It's gonna speak for itself. You know what I mean? Like, And even in this shit, in this industry, this streaming industry, this podcasting, whatever you want to call the YouTube streets, they cold, man. They cold because it's all about negativity and everybody want to shoot this one down and all that shit. Not for nothing, like the nigga like Uncasa said, man, I'm on some pie shit. He said positive internet energy, man. I fucks with that. Like I'm jacking that concept, that whole acronym and all that. You know what I mean? Salute Uncasa and all that, bro. Word, man. Like it be like niggas don't be wanting to, niggas be too in their feelings or too too having too much pride to want to collaborate with one another and all that. But if we was because at one time we was all artists, some of us still artists and still do music and this. But at the end of the day, this internet, this podcast and shit, niggas, everybody got something to say on the internet. Everybody got a story. They are all good. You know what I mean? It's somebody that might be interested. It's a nigga that's Lyfe'n right now and all that. He don't, you know what I mean? He just like, damn, I like this shit and all that. So it's my civic duty to make sure every time that nigga come from a 12-hour shift or whatever shift or he on the road, I got some product to get this nigga and all that. That's like when a nigga come out of town, quick hustle day, nigga. When nigga used to pull up and all that shit, yo, I'm coming from boop boop and all that. Make sure you got me right, cause I'm in and out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you what you need and all that so you can get ahead and be on your way. That's what I do. That's good business. You know what I mean? I do good business. So I'm just here to feed the algorithm and feed the people that feed the need of the people who life be lifing and all. And that's everyday people. That's every day. That's you. That's you. Yeah, you. You know what I mean? Right. So we ain't got to always talk about celebrity shit. We're going to talk about worldly shit. Like I said, I'm going to just be all over the place because that's what I do. With it. It's like you having a conversation with show. Like you sitting here in a conversation with me. You know what I mean? Now, if you was sitting here physically and all that, then we be all, you know what I mean? We spend more time on certain topics or concepts, or you might, but that's just the whole shit about this and all that. You know what I mean? Life be life. And so in the near future, y'all gonna be seeing, different guests and special guests and co-hosts come on with me and pause, super pause, you know what I mean? But let's just collaborate and just, you know what I mean? We just gonna give you, you know what I mean? We just gonna build, you know what I mean? Before the camera. We're gonna build before the camera. And there you have it. That's what life be life and what your life is. What your life be life in. That's my quote of the day. What your life be life in. You know what I mean? Word. Niggas don't need Hollywood, man. They don't. Everybody's building their own production studios and say what you want about Tyler Perry and all that shit. He killing the TV game right now. Killing. You know what I mean? He got everything right now. Now he still got to work on his gangster niggas, the niggas that he be picking and choosing for the thug niggas, the hood niggas and all that, them roles. He still got to step it up on that one, but that's a work in progress. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Shit is I support black independence. However, that's the flip side. However, not all of us really are for us. Let's keep that all the way above. You know what I mean? Because like I said, once a certain figure and a number is shown before your eyes, you're going to take it. You're going to accept. I'll just say that. You'll accept. Some will, some won't. Most will, but some won't. But for the some that won't, we could work, we could deal. You know what I mean? Even the some that will, we could deal. If it's you know what I mean? If everything is right, the business, if it makes sense, why not? Let's get the dollars. You know what I mean? Straight up. I don't discriminate. It's an equal opportunity business proposition. We ain't gotta do nothing, you know what I mean, other than the business that we are conducting. That's yeah. You know what I mean? Like I done dealt with the devil a time or two, you know what I mean? Strictly for business, but because I knew he was the devil, but I knew it was something that I can get from it. Something he wanted from me, but it's in return. It's a fair exchange. There's no robbery now. You know what I mean? Let's keep it a buck. But it was never at a price of that I never could afford. I'll just say that. Never was a price that I couldn't afford. You know what I mean? But like I said, that was only a time or two. So, you know what I mean? All of them, and I don't, and I prayed it. I prayed on it that I was all forgiven for those, you know what I mean, for those moves and transactions. But at the same time, you know what I mean, I paid mine. I didn't. It was never nothing out of the blue. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that'd be that. Life be life and all that. You know what I mean? Yeah.